right, well, thanks for staying with us. I would now like to introduce you to the Hotel Saskatchewan. We are here filming a little bit of a section today, an interview with Karl Fix. I recently traveled to Colombia with Karl Fix and the Dog River Howlers rugby team, and it was a pretty amazing experience. So I want to thank the Hotel Saskatchewan for hosting us today, and now I would like you to meet the man, the myth, Mr. Karl Fix.
I've been called a lot of things, but never the myth. That might stick.
All right, so you know what? It was a pretty amazing experience, Colombia. But I want you to tell us about the Dog River Howlers rugby team and why you started it and what it means.
Well, I started because I love rugby. The parts of rugby I didn't like is the politics. Amateur sports is the worst for that. And this is just pure rugby, and it's not just about rugby, but other things. Because usually through sports, like I say, you never make a living at it, but the things you learn along the way, and that's what it's all about. But a lot of it was the politics. I don't like the politics. This is run almost like a business. There's 88 people inputting and everybody having their own personal agendas. So, and to have fun and to keep doing what I enjoy doing, and that's meeting people around the world, and the vehicle is rugby.
Yeah. Now, while we were down there, what I noticed the most, I mean, you didn't let me pack a lot of luggage because you made us bring donations. You highly suggested.
No, I didn't make you do anything.
You didn't make me, but I did. I really wanted to bring donations to a Life by Life Foundation, but I also, all the kids who are playing rugby down there that don't have access to just little balls, let alone like rugby balls or shirts or shoes, and you brought crazy amount of donations.
I think this is the fourth time they brought 70 bags. So rugby usually around the world is played by the middle class, upper middle class. Colombia is the one exception I've seen where it's played by the poorest of the poor. 85% of the people who play rugby in Colombia, the family income is less than $300 a month. Wow. So they don't have balls, they don't have shoes, they have nothing. They have the will and the passion to play, but you need some basic things, not as much as in football or hockey. You need some cleats, you need some shorts. And so we ask everybody when we come down there to bring what they can, used or new, and give it to them, and they're very, very appreciative.
Yeah, I was there when we were donating. Just, we spread all the clothes out in the middle of the, is it called a pitch?
The pitch.
Field, whatever, yeah. The field, and all these kids, their eyes just lit up, and this could have been their first pair of rugby boots, or their first balls they've ever got.
Well, a lot of them, it is their first boots or their first uniforms and everything, so they're very appreciative, and I think that's what everybody goes down there who experiences that, is that they really do appreciate it, and it makes a difference for them because they finally have an opportunity to actually play the game.
And it makes me think of your slogan, it's more than a game.
It's a way of life.
It's a way of life, and it is a way of life. So I want to talk a little bit about, we met a Canadian referee, Ian Godfrey, and we're now going to go to an interview with Ian Godfrey. He's, I think he's from Alberta.
Calgary, Alberta.
He's from Calgary, Alberta, traveled with us down to Colombia. I think he's traveled with you many times.
No, first time.
First time. He alone brought a lot of uniforms. I think full team uniforms. He bought brand new, and he brought bags down. I'd like you to meet Ian Godfrey. All right, Ian, thanks for joining us. I want to talk to you a little bit about respect to the game. We were in the final seconds here, and the Colombians were working so hard for their try, and the Canadian supporters were screaming. Tell us a little bit about that's what rugby is.
Rugby is all about respect. The game is so physical on the field that if you didn't have respect off the field, it would just be mayhem. So it's very much about respect on and off the field, respect for officials, respect for players, respect for your competition, and just the work ethic that they're putting in. When they work that hard, and they continually work that hard to score the try, you have to feel good about the work ethic behind it. Yeah,
I loved your phrase you used the other day. It's a ruffians played by gentlemen.
It is. So everybody always says soccer is a gentleman sport played by ruffians. Or hooligans. Rugby is a hooligans game played by gentlemen. It's very much about the respect. You see, there was a very big tackle early in the game, and the Howler boy stood up and gave him the thumbs up. It was a good tackle. It was a clean tackle. Helped them up, and they joined the game. And that's what it's about.
In an earlier conversation, you also mentioned about being such an inclusive sport, that rugby is so inclusive.
It is, so both my daughters play. They play for University of Lethbridge. But everybody, it doesn't matter the color of your skin, your gender, your sexual preferences. If you can play the game, you can play the game. And everybody is welcome when they can play the game.
Yeah. Now, I just want you to tell me about a most memorable moment during a rugby game, a rugby practice, anything to do with rugby. A most memorable moment.
For me, one of my most memorable games was doing a USA second division women's game against the Bermuda national team. And it was so fast. And I am more than twice their age. They were kind of the 20-ish. And it was, at the end of the game, all the referees were giving me grief about not being inside the 22 when the try was scored. And the coach walked by and kind of said, "It's okay, she also is a sprinter for the Bermuda national team. You never would have caught her." But I still ended up buying beers for all the referees that were watching and heckling me for not making it into the 22.
All right, we're back. Now I want to talk a little bit about Carlos. We met Carlos down in Colombia. I met him for the first time in Colombia, but you have sponsored him to bring him to Canada. But let's talk a little bit about, how did you meet Carlos?
Well, we met him through originally we went down there and we decided we're going to do something more, just not to bring things down, but bring somebody up here and make a difference in their life. One of the parents, a guy named Andrew Purdy's along, and he was a big donator to make this come about. So we picked two kids to kind of almost compete for this privilege or this opportunity. Yeah. Carlos was the one that kind of, we decided, the school and everybody decided to be the one. He comes from one of the, I mean, you saw the background. Yeah. Where he comes from, Monrovia, was at one point considered one of the most dangerous places to live. He saw his friends being shot, going to jail, dying, and he chose rugby, and he feels to this day, I just spoke to him today, it saved his life because a lot of his friends are dead, because the criminal activity there is above and beyond what you have in East LA or whatever else. So it really changed his life. He came up here, he goes to Shawnigan Lake School, which is one of the very prestigious private school, and he's doing amazingly well. He's learned English, everybody loves him, he's doing well in school, and we're hoping this is just the beginning.
Yeah. When we were at Carlos's house, we walked up, we walked up 8 flights of stairs, and we went into this, 400 square foot house.
That 6 people lived in.
6 people were living in there, and we met his grandpa.
93-year-old man.
And his grandpa, I think, just was so grateful for everything you have done.
Well, it's not.
And lots of people, though.
First of all, I didn't do it. I maybe was a coordinator, but there's a lot of people involved who put in their resources, financial, human resources. Damon Weigel, who I want to mention, who's a Howlers from Regina, he's what actually introduced us to Carlos as a candidate, and so there's a lot of people who are part of the team, as we always put it, to bring him up here. Yeah.
And I think all the children in the neighborhood, they look at Carlos and they go, "We can believe. Like, this is a dream."
I think that'll be the big effect, because before, we talked about maybe doing this, but pie in the sky. Finally, there's somebody up here, and we're really, there's been a documentary being done on this. We continually have what's happening with them on Facebook. So these kids are saying, listen, if I go to school, if I keep my nose clean, if I play rugby or whatever, I'm going to have this opportunity. So it's already having an effect, a ripple effect down there, where kids are keeping their noses clean, like I said, keep going to school, so hopefully they can have this opportunity too.
Yeah, and I've met Carlos now a couple times, and I hear he's doing very well in school.
Yeah, he's doing amazingly well. For someone who can barely speak English, his marks from his first report card to his second report card changed dramatically. At that school, if you have an A average, you're invited to it's called the headmaster's dinner. He was so proud. He showed him his invitation that here's a guy who can barely speak English, and he was invited as one of the privileged kids with an A average to go to the headmaster's dinners at his school.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Well, you know what? Like, congratulations for arranging something like that. You changed one life, but there's so many other little eyes that are watching you and watching Carlos. And
I think they're watching Carlos and watching the Howlers. And it also has a very profound effect on. We've taken now down there probably close to 100 kids, and they said it's changed their lives because they really appreciate being Canadian and realize what it's all about. And that's why we say it's more than a game, it's a way of life. And they learn that down there. They're friends now with kids. We don't just take kids from Canada, we take kids from Holland, different countries. They all become friends. And I always say sports builds bridges, politicians build walls. We want to keep building bridges.
All right, well, good. So we're going to take a total twist now, and I'm going to ask you, because you refer to a few people on the trip, you're a Mugsy. What's a Mugsy, Karl?
Well, you're looking at one. We're all Mugsies in our own right. It just depends what level and what you're Mugsy at. So you're a Mugsy. I mean, you're a good Mugsy, or a good-looking Mugsy too. Me, I'm just a big old Mugsy. And I said to Carlos, "You're a Mugsy." He says, "Yeah, I'm a Mugsy." A Mugsy is whatever you want it to be. It's actually a term of endearment with a bit of a slag, but it's kind of locker room talk. Not Donald Trump locker room talk, mind you. It's good locker room talk.
Right. Well, thanks for joining us, and
thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me on the Columbia trip. Letting me share in that.
I'm glad you're able to get the message out that this isn't just about rugby. I mean, Dog River Howlers. We got that. I want to put a plug in for Lord Cardinal. He got us the name from CTV. Rugby is just a small portion. It's just that facilitates what life is all about. Giving that.
Good. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to sing.
Oh, you didn't get? Do you want to sing?
No, that's okay.
You want to sing?
No.
Don't you usually pay to sing? Like, you're gonna pay me if you want to sing on my show.
No, what I do. I want to say, if you're getting married, I'll give you the family rate. I pay you $500.
Oh my goodness! All right. Well, that is Karl Fix, the man, the myth.